Mark Briscoe vs. Jon Moxley, Brawl in the Barn match. As AEW comes on the air, there's a black SUV arriving to a home, pulling up by a mailbox, with the name Briscoe's. As the driver door opens, the driver's feet is seen stepping out of the SUV. All the other doors open up. It's Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. Walking towards the front door. Mark Briscoe's wife tells Mark Briscoe there's 6 people walking up the driveway towards the house. Mark Briscoe see it's the Death Riders. Mark Briscoe tell his wife everything is okay, I'm going outside to see what they want, stay inside, don't come out. Jon Moxley rings the doorbell. Mark Briscoe answers the door. What are y'all doing here, why are you at my home? Moxley laughs, we was just doing a little sightseeing, saw the name Briscoe's on the mailbox, decided to pay you a visit. Anyway, you been a pain in my ass for a long time, I wanted to tell you this up close and personal, to your face. After Jon Moxley says that, the Death Riders surround Mark Briscoe, his wife comes to the door asking is everything okay, Mark is everything fine. The Death Riders begin to act friendly with Mark Briscoe's wife. Marina Shaffer asked Mark Briscoe's wife if she can have a cup of water, the other Death Rider members ask for water also. Mark Briscoe's wife unknowingly tells them to come on in the house, and close the door. Mark Briscoe tries to stop his wife, Jon Moxley stops him, says she'll be fine but you won't be, and attacks Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe's wife hears the commotion outside, with fear in her eyes, scared. Marina Shaffer says they're just having a conversation, it won't be long. Jon Moxley has Mark Briscoe laid out on the porch. Jon Moxley rings the doorbell and Marina Shaffer tell Mark Briscoe's wife do not come outside until we are gone, or you are next. The Death Riders head back to their black SUV and leaves. Mark Briscoe's wife runs to the front door, opens it and sees a bloody Mark Briscoe telling her, I'm okay, don't call the cops, he's mine. He's mine, hurt with anger. Following episode on Dynamite, the show opens up with the Death Riders at a bar talking about how Jon Moxley left Mark Briscoe bloody on his porch. How Mark Briscoe's wife was so afraid and helpless, laughing and eating at the table. Moxley says he'll be right back, heading to the restroom to drain the weasel. Jon Moxley with no worries walks towards the restroom. While using the restroom, Mark Briscoe walks past the unsuspecting Death Riders heading toward the restroom, with a hooded jacket. Disguised with his hooded jacket, Mark Briscoe enters the restroom. Jon Moxley says hey, what's up, to the unfamiliar hooded Mark Briscoe, not knowing who it is. Jon Moxley goes to wash his hands and look up in the mirror and sees the guy remove his hood. It's Mark Briscoe, Jon Moxley looking with shock in his eyes. Mark Briscoe attacks Jon Moxley. Mark Briscoe starts throwing Jon Moxley into the bathroom walls, then throw Jon Moxley in one of the stalls, putting Jon Moxley's face in one of the toilets. Walking off leaving a hurt and bloody Jon Moxley. Mark Briscoe walks out the restroom with his hood back on, walking past the Death Riders while they're celebrating. Wheeler Yuta asks the Death Riders where is Moxley. Pac says in the restroom. Claudio Castagnoli goes to check on Jon Moxley. As Claudio gets to the restroom he sees people over Moxley and attacks them. Jon Moxley says no, not them, it's not them. It was Mark Briscoe. Claudio yells to the Death Riders, come here, come here. Jon Moxley says he just left out the restroom, go find him now. The Death Riders runs towards the parking lot to catch Mark Briscoe, taking the hood off his head in his old muddy pickup truck, speeds off, middle finger in the air. The Death Riders are mad, yelling frustrated. Following episode of Dynamite. Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Pac are in the ring. Jon Moxley grabs the microphone. Jon Moxley begins to laugh. Mark Briscoe, I don't know you sneaked past the Death Riders and managed to get your muddy hands on me in the restroom at the bar. Jon Moxley says, so Mark Briscoe, since you like to sneak around and attacks people in the restroom, come attack me now. I'm in the ring now, don't think about hiding, I got Marina Shaffer. Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia searching this whole building for you, either you come to this ring, or we come find you, and it's gonna be worser if I have to look for you. Mark Briscoe pops up on the screen and says, "I'm right here, Jon Moxley, in the parking lot. Sitting on my muddy pickup truck waiting for you, come get me." Jon Moxley tells Claudio Castagnoli and Pac to go get him, leaving the ring looking for Mark Briscoe in the parking lot. Jon Moxley is watching the screen as the cameramans follow Claudio Castagnoli and Pac. Mark Briscoe music hits. Jon Moxley yells on the mic, "Come back, come back." Mark Briscoe hits the ring. Jon Moxley and Mark Briscoe brawl in the ring. Jon Moxley gets the upper hand on Mark Briscoe, but Mark Briscoe turns it around and gets the best of Jon Moxley, as Mark Briscoe is about to drop Jon Moxley with the J Driller. The Death Riders all run down the ramp to the ring. Mark Briscoe hops out the ring and runs through the crowd. Stops and turn around and celebrate with the fans. Following episode of Dynamite. Mark Briscoe is getting ready for a one-on-one match with Wheeler Yuta, preparing in the locker room. The lights go out, the Death Riders attack Mark Briscoe, as Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta guard the door, stopping referees and security. During the attack on Mark Briscoe, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Pac put Mark Briscoe through a table. Jon Moxley knocks on the door signaling let them out. Leaving the locker room, medical staff, referees, and officials rushes in to check on Mark Briscoe. Later on in the show, Mark Briscoe is in the doctor room getting tape up. The doctor is telling him don't have the match until he heals. Mark Briscoe music hits. Mark Briscoe gets up limping, hurt. He still manages to go out to the ring for his one-on-one match with Wheeler Yuta. As Mark Briscoe tries to get in the ring, Wheeler Yuta goes on the attack on the injured Mark Briscoe. Wheeler Yuta has the advantage over Mark Briscoe for the first 5 minutes of the match. Out of nowhere, Mark Briscoe finds the strength and begins to fight back, pulling off some of his moves on Wheeler Yuta. With Daniel Garcia outside the ring, he distracts the referee. Wheeler Yuta hits Mark Briscoe with a low blow attack. Wheeler Yuta back on the attack. Mark Briscoe uses the energy of the crowd to fight back, getting the upper hand. Mark Briscoe knocks Wheeler Yuta down, looks and dives out the ring and hits Daniel Garcia. Mark Briscoe jumps back in the ring and hits Wheeler Yuta with the J Driller. 1, 2, 3 wins the match. After the bell rings, the Death Riders surround the ring. Mark Briscoe goes to attack one of the Death Riders, giving Jon Moxley the opening to get in the ring. Jon Moxley hits Mark Briscoe with the Paradigm Shift, standing over Mark Briscoe. Following episode of the Go Home show before the PLE, Mark Briscoe is standing in the ring with a microphone, says Jon Moxley, "You are a coward, you and them Death Riders. I see you can't fight me one-on-one, so since you like to visit me at my home, where my family and I live, since you so big and bad, me and you, one-on-one at the next PLE." Death Riders music hits. Jon Moxley and the Death Riders stands on the stage. Jon Moxley says, "No one is afraid of you, Mark Briscoe. I'm the one who puts pain and fear in my opponents. You want me one-on-one, at the PLE, you got it. I'm gonna beat the living hell out your barnyard ass." Mark Briscoe says, "Hey Jon Moxley, you just gave me an idea. Never before, me and you, my type of match, not any kind of match. Me and you, Jon Moxley, brawl in the barn match." Jon Moxley says, "A barn match, a coffin match, it doesn't matter what kind of match it is, I'm gonna rip your head off, I accept." Mark Briscoe music hits and have a stare down with each other. Jon Moxley vs. Mark Briscoe, brawl in the barn match.